testing is definitely the way forward on this one. So whether it's penetration testing, testing your processes, testing the people that you have, that they're meeting certain requirements, penetration testing, purple teaming, all of that, get it done, and the results of that, the remediation off the back of that retesting, you'll know where you stand. The best thing to do is to identify your most likely adversaries, not what's in fashion, not what you hear about on the news, what is most likely, who is most likely going to attack you and why, and where you are placed in defending yourself against that. That threat intelligence that you've gathered within that, that engagement or that series of work, that gives you puts you in a really unique position to better defend yourself. So you can defend yourself against TTPs and indicators of compromise that you know are specific to threat actors that are your adversaries. When you have that knowledge, you can put those things in place. You can't defend yourself if you don't know what you're defending yourself against. Going back to what I just said about testing, what we're doing is purple team engagements. So we do a number of services, well, three core services, but to really answer this question, I'll tell you about the purple teaming service that we do. So we do a threat intelligence piece. We gather information from open source intelligence, threat intelligence forums, various information. We spend time with the customer internally, find out as much as we can. We put that all into a complete piece of work that we call a template. And we work with penetration testers and incident responders together in the same room in what we call a purple team engagement. And we go through every single TTP that relates to every single likely adversary that we can find. We relate it specifically to the network. It's incredibly bespoke. And we sit in a room together and we literally just hash it out. So we have our pen tester there testing something while our blue teamer is sat there looking at their SIEM solution, looking at things on the network to see if anything's popping up. If it is, great. Can we do something about it? No, maybe we'll put something in place. If they can do something about it, excellent. We know that they're robust. We know that they've got that framework in place and they're perfect. I think half of the battle is gathering information, is the threat intelligence piece. You literally cannot defend yourself if you don't know what you're defending against in every aspect of life. And this is no different. So for me personally, I strongly believe that the diversity of thought is diversity that really matters. Now, in order to get that diversity of thought into the industry, we need to bring in different sections of people. Unfortunately, in this country, we have a huge class divide, so we need to make sure we're opening up information security to people from various different backgrounds. And a really easy way to bring in a big flood of people that think differently to the people that are already in the industry is to open it up more to women. Now, it is open to women. There is a lot of men in the industry that are trying really hard to get women to apply for jobs at their companies, getting really behind initiatives like Ladies of London Hacking Society. And we're still finding that a lot of women are lacking confidence in getting engaged. And I think we've really got to empower women to think in a way that failure isn't failure until you've given up. And unfortunately, you have to keep trying. This industry is a lifelong learning industry, and women and men have to keep trying, and women have got to get used to that. I'm really interested to see for myself. I'm really interested to see how legally cybersecurity is going to evolve with things like deep fakes and impersonation attacks. That's incredibly interesting to me. How that's going to affect legal cases, how that's going to affect brand reputation of various companies, not just security companies. That's a really fascinating space for me. Not that I know of. But this is something that I think is going to maybe happen in the future. So if you can imagine that the head of a financial may be found in a very compromising position on video, that's put out on the internet, that could destroy that person's life and career and have a huge impact on that brand. I think that's going to be really interesting. I don't know how far that's going to go. I have no idea. This is something I've definitely got my eye on though. it's definitely not a losing battle. Like, you've never lost until you give up. And we have to, I think, stop accepting risks. And a big problem internally is that people that aren't in security on the C-level are very willing to accept risks that they shouldn't be accepting. That puts you on the back foot, and then you are fighting a losing battle. I think if everyone gets on board from a C-level perspective, not just the CISO, but the CEO has an interest in protecting their brand and their company and their data and their information and their employees through cyber defense, you're in a really strong position. Again, with the CTO, I think a lot of onus is put on the CISO. So it starts at the top. You have to get leadership engaged in wanting to be secure, seeing security as a viable part of the business, not a money drain, but something that saves them money. If they don't protect themselves, potentially they could be fined millions, thousands of pounds. They could also have their data stolen, lose thousands and millions of pounds through brand impingement. And it starts at the top. And I think if the top of the company do not care about security, you are fighting a losing battle, yes. I think if they do, if a good CISO, a good CTO can get the rest of the company involved, it trickles down, and no, you're not fighting a losing battle. We can say, you hear it all the time at events like this, that the people are the weakest link. Well, yes, they can be, but they can also be the strongest defense. And if you empower your defenders, which is every single person in your company, you are going to win. The benefit of information security events just like this is that people can share knowledge, come together, share knowledge, people can learn. And especially when companies get on board and they pay to send their employees to these events, absolutely excellent. It's knowledge gained, knowledge shared, fantastic. Making new connections as well opens you up to wider discussions that you might not have thought of. So yeah,